Boom, it's 2006. 7-year-old me just finished doing his homework like a good little boy when his dad walks right through the door. That day would be slightly different because in his hand were two games that would drastically change that little boy's life. Marvel Nemesis, Rise of the Imperfects, which I will talk about in another video. And that's right, you guessed it. Shadow of the... Shadow of the... Released on October 18, 2005, Shadow of the Colossus would be the second game made by the legendary Team Ico. These are the same guys that made Ico, which came out in 2001, and their most recent title, The Last Guardian, which came out in 2016. Both masterpieces in their own right. But this game is in a class of its own. Before I continue though, this isn't a review. This is just me talking about a game I really like and why you should like it as much as I like it. What? Don't look at me like that. You like things too, right? Team Ico opened my eyes to a side of gaming I didn't even know existed. The game was dark, mysterious, almost devoid of any color. It had such an unusually serious tone that I just wasn't used to at the time. Definitely a lot different from what I was playing, at least. Scooby-Doo, Night of 100 Frights, Sly Cooper, Crash Nitro Kart, Jak and Daxter. You get the point. I was playing the games meant for kids my age. Not to say that Shadow of the Colossus wasn't made for me necessarily. It was just new. I wasn't used to stuff like that. I didn't know video games could be serious. That's for grown-ups, not for little kids like me. I watch Cartoon Network and play with Bakugan. I don't have the brain capacity to grapple with heavy themes like sacrifice and essentially genocide. I will get back to that later. So, my dad hands me the game, and the only word I can use to describe how I felt when I looked at the box art for the first time: intimidated. Honestly, all three of us were. Both of my parents looked at it too. I mean, you're looking at this little man on a horse become completely dwarfed by this massive monster. I mean, this thing is practically blocking out the sun, casting a huge shadow. Shadow of the Colossus. Sorry. Yeah, I was a bit intimidated, but excited nonetheless. This was the turning point of my gaming career, where boys become men. So what do you think this is about? I'll tell you what my 7-year-old self thought this was about. I thought I would be some sort of knight defending his homeland from a giant monster, maybe traveling to a strange land to slay an ancient evil. I thought I was going to be a hero. Well, aren't you? You may be asking me in your head. No. This isn't your classic hero story. This isn't Mario saving Peach from Bowser. This isn't Link saving Zelda from Ganon. That's what little me thought, at least. Look at him. Nothing behind those eyes. Get out of here, man. The game starts out with a hawk flying through a beautiful but almost barren wasteland. It glides alongside a cliffside, soon to reveal a man on a horse, traveling with what seems to be another person. It's not super clear what's happening immediately. All you know is that this man is traveling with someone that appears to be unconscious. Fast forward a little bit. The man eventually gets to this massive castle. Seems like it's the only structure / building for miles. You progress through the castle and eventually find yourself in this room guarded by different creature statues lining the walls, and at the end of the room, there's an altar. The man then proceeds to lay the stranger down on said altar. All of a sudden, a gust of anime wind blows the cloak that was covering the stranger away to reveal an unconscious girl? Or maybe dead, I don't know. All I know is that this girl is not conscious. My little brain is exploding right now. Are you my mom? My sister, maybe? My girlfriend? It's never explicitly told to the player, so I guess you can just put your own title on her. To me, she was my girlfriend. So right after we establish it's a girl, God quite literally reveals himself. The otherworldly being basically says,
if you want to bring her back, you gotta go and kill 16 colossi that's scattered through the land. Aye, bye.
And then you do that. I mean, at its core, the story isn't super complicated. You got this dead lady that you want to not be dead, and the only way to do that is to kill. Kill some big old monsters, that is. It's fine, right? They're probably terrorizing people anyway, right? Probably evil. Right? right? Little man fight big monster. Anyone looking at the cover can pretty much tell you what you're going to be doing. But them boys over at Team Ico threw me for a loop, because the way you go about doing that isn't as cut and dry as you may initially think. They start you off slow though, just so you can understand what to expect as you go deeper into the game. The first Colossus you fight is the one on the cover of the box. Big Minotaur looking bloke. Got a hammer, hooves, the whole nine. Once you step into the battlefield, you really feel the weight and scale of what's in front of you. There's a realization you have midway. I have to fight 15 more of these dudes? Oh nah. 16 literal mountains you have to climb ahead of you. Anyway, there he is. You're running around looking at this dude, trying to figure out how you even begin fighting this guy. I'd imagine you're running up to its leg and whacking it with your sword. It's definitely bouncing off, by the way. Kinda stumped, right? What do? All of a sudden, you notice that he's got an open wound on his calf. Now that looks like something I can stab. You find your way onto its calf. You give him a good poke, and boom, you got the bastard on his knees. Serotonin rushes through your brain as you wound this monster who likely hasn't done anything to anyone, but that's okay because you're doing this for your girlfriend. She's gonna give me so many kisses when she wakes up. Sorry. You get it to kneel, so now you're able to jump on its back and climb up to its head. When I did this for the first time as a kid, my parents and I were screaming at the TV because he's trying to shake you off and the music is super intense and your stamina bar is getting lower and lower. The whole time you have to find this big blue sigil that appears on a specific part of the body. My mom's like, there it is! And then my dad's like, Gabe, don't let go! And I'm over here crawling around this mountain's head trying not to fall off. I mean, man, that's just something you have to experience for yourself. So you find the sigil, then you stab it right in the middle with all your strength, using what's left of your stamina. Rinse and repeat till it goes down. In the case of the first Colossi, the final sigil is on the top of his head. And when you get that final hit, slow motion, enlightening music, a black liquid mist sprays from the wound as the Colossi falls to its death. A mystifying light opens in the sky. There's worms for some reason, I don't know. So you've slain your first Colossus. Not bad. Think it's gonna be just like that 15 more times? Tell him, Charlie.
Wrong.
That's right, you're wrong. You're gonna be fighting all manner of colossi. You're gonna be fighting giant turtles, giant cows, giant horses, giant eagles, sand snakes, water buffalo, giant lizards that climb walls and shoot fast as lightning projectiles at you. Tell him again, Charlie. Tell him again.
Wrong.
Yep, rest in peace the goat, man. That's the homie right there. With each Colossus, you essentially have to find its Achilles heel and exploit it to win. If it's not on the Colossus itself, sometimes you can use the environment as a weapon. This game is full of surprises. It's not just about climbing onto it and stabbing it till it's dead. There's a lot more to taking these things down. Added to the unique ways of taking these monsters out, the way you track them down is just as interesting. You hold up your sword and reflect the sun's light, and as you turn, the light will merge into one singular beam pointing you into the direction of the Colossus you're hunting. Come on now, that's just clever. That's just so sick. That's so sick. Come on, dude. This game really doesn't have a lot of dialogue other than God speaking to you every now and then, so you're not going to be subjected to a bunch of exposition. What it lacks in dialogue, though, it makes up for with music. Now, what kind of music do you think this game would have? Probably hype, right? Probably bombastic, probably in your face, balls to the wall insane, right? Well, boys and girls, I'm here to tell you, you're exactly right. That is monster slaying music right there. Even when you aren't fighting anything, the subtle moments in between each fight, the music can be so melancholic. I know I said the music is bombastic and energetic, but that's just a quarter of what this game offers you music-wise. The small moments sometimes speak the loudest. Riding your horse through the forest, resting at an altar, looking at this girl you're doing all of this for. Spoken words almost have no place here because the game communicates with you through so many different mediums, music usually being the main one. Everything is implied and easily assumed because this game does an amazing job world building and making you feel a certain way during important story moments. I'm trying not to spoil anything here, but when you inevitably slay one of the colossi, the music isn't triumphant or victorious. At least it doesn't make you feel that way. It's gloomy and almost mournful. The song that plays is a perfect representation of post-nut clarity. Full of passion, full of adrenaline. But once that passion hits your stomach and you look down, what have I done? Jokes aside, this game constantly speaks to the player, whether it be the music, the environment, God himself. There's so much beauty to be found in every corner. In conclusion, go play the game. They remade it for the PS4, so, go play it, go download it. It's genuinely one of the greatest pieces of fictional media to come out in the last 20 years. The only bad thing that I can say about the game is the controls, unfortunately. The controls make you feel like there's 3 other dudes punching you in the face and tickling you all at the same time. For some, that might sound like a great time, but I like being able to play the game smoothly. That's just me. Even with that flaw, the game is still a must-play. This has been your boy loosekuma. Subscribe, hit the like button, comment, do what you gotta do. Peace, bro. So why did you pick Shadow of the Colossus out of all the games that you saw there? Why did you pick that to bring home?
Well, the crazy thing about it is I saw the game in the film Rain on Me, where Adam Sandler, the comedian, starred, who's also a very good actor, and a guy I love as a stand-up comic. And he's playing this freaking game. He's obsessed with this freaking game. Stage 1, you know the stages very well. We played it 109 times. But he does stage 1, and I'm like looking at this thing, and I'm like, what the freak is he playing? It looks pretty cool. Mm-hmm. And then I started doing some research to find out, hey, what was Adam Sandler playing in Rain on Me, right? And then I found out it was Shadow of the Colossus. I said, I'm getting. Wow. Because that first stage was so amazing. I was very intrigued with that game as I watched it in the film. And again, I found out what it was, went out and got it, brought it home, grabbed you, game, we gotta play this game.
I was like, what, 7 or 8 at that point?
Probably about 7, 8, or 9, right in there.
Yeah, I mean, that we never looked back. I mean, we were always playing that game for a couple years after you brought it home. It was amazing. I mean, every stage was like crazier than the last, and we were like, how can this be topped? And it was a genuine surprise and delight to play that game like whenever we did. So I'm glad you brought it. I'm glad you brought that game with you. Thanks for the history lesson.
Yes,
say what's up to all the viewers out there.
What's up, everybody? Gabe's Pops. What up?
Yep.
Good to see you guys. And follow Gabe's show, follow Gabe on YouTube, the Loose Podcast. You gotta check it out. Loose Podcast on YouTube. Check him out.